Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you watched my channel before, you may notice that I switched to English, and I'm sure that everybody who is looking for a job abroad will definitely benefit from consuming content in English. Plus, as the work, my company is currently hiring people from all over the world. I thought that English would make more sense, so here we are. Today we have a very interesting topic and very important one. Today we're going to talk about the money, and more specifically about salary expectations and how to communicate it to the employer during the interview. Okay, first of all, you need to understand why this question is important not only for you, but for the client as well. I understand that from point of view of the candidates, usually it's like, okay, it's a number, what is a big deal, right? But for the client, it's a little bit more than that. Imagine that you're going to a nail salon and you're picking between a few places. You will definitely pay attention where the quality of the services matches the price, because you wouldn't want to overpay for low quality service a very big amount of money. So for companies, it's kind of the same. They're investing money in some candidates, and they want to understand that they will get the return that they are looking for. But it's not only about the money. The answer to the question about your salary expectations shows as well your motivation, your professionalism, your ability to evaluate yourself, evaluate the situation around you. So it's not just about the number, but about the way you answer this question as well. So to answer the question about your salary expectations, you need to understand your salary expectation. You have to define it. Don't you ever, please answer to this question with something like, oh, I want to get $1 million, or the more the better. This is not a professional answer. If you're answering something like this, that shows that you are unprofessional, that you are immature, that you actually don't know what exactly you want. So this is definitely not impression that you want to do on your possibly future employer. So first thing you need to do to define your salary expectation is to honestly evaluate yourself. Evaluate your skills, your experience, your background, your additional trainings, anything that could be relevant to the position that you're applying for. The accent here is on the word honestly evaluate yourself. Let's say we have two waiters who worked for 5 years, and you think, okay, I worked for 5 years as a waiter, so I'm cool, I can get any job. But let's compare. There is a waiter who works in a very small town in a very kind of low-key casual dining, and then there is a waiter that works in, let's say, France, in a Michelin star fine dining restaurant, that goes through regular trainings to be up to date with new service trends and stuff like this. Even though the two people worked for the same amount of time, they have absolutely different experience. And when you're evaluating yourself, you need to take into consideration also the quality of experience that you have. The second thing you need to do is research the market. You need to understand how much people with your skill set and with your kind of background are getting on the market, because even if you want to receive $1 million, nobody will pay you that for a waiter position, right? You need to be realistic, and you need to understand what's the market situation. So you go to job boards, you talk to recruiters, you maybe go to directly the companies that you want to apply for and see what opportunities they have, what are the packages that they're offering. And based on those two things, you make up your mind about how much is your salary expectations. Also, don't forget that when you're researching the market, if you, for example, live in India or in Ukraine or somewhere else, but you're planning to go to Dubai or Saudi Arabia, you need to research market of that country. You need to understand what are the salaries for this position, for your kind of profiles, at that market. And even in Gulf, let's say if you want to work in Dubai, but you are researching salaries in Saudi Arabia, they will not match, because in Dubai salaries are a little bit lower, and if you have expectations like in Saudi but you are trying to find a job in Dubai, you may get like this impasse where you will just stuck and you won't be able to find a job because the market prices are lower. Okay, now you have an understanding of your skills, of the market situation, and you have come up with some number, X. This is your fair number. This is the number that you are really willing to work for. But you also need to have another number in mind. Let's call it like ideal number or perfect number or happy number, whatever suits you. So this is something that still inside the market, but a little bit maybe above what you really like deserve. Somewhere deep inside you know that okay, I'm ready to work for $800, but if I get 1,000, that would be just amazing. So this is your like ideal number. It cannot be too far away from your real number, but it should be like maybe 10 to 20% above that. And when you come to an interview, you want to name your ideal number. Why? Because if they will go for your ideal number, you will be super happy because you got even a little bit more than you like could have agreed to. If not, then the company usually don't go too far off the number that you set. You still will have what you actually wanted in the first place, like your real number. So this is a kind of win-win situation where you either get your real number or you get your like ideal number. Remember, when you go to the interview, you have to know two numbers and you have to name the ideal one, the one that is a little bit higher than you expect. Emphasis on a little bit. Okay guys, and now we got to the trick question. When should we mention our salary expectations? Like in the beginning of the interview, in the middle of the interview, in the end of the interview? And the answer is you only mention your salary expectations if employer asks you about this, period. If employer, interviewer, HR manager, if they don't bring it up during the interview, never bring it up yourself. Because if they didn't ask you about this, if they didn't bring it up, if they didn't ask you about this, if they didn't bring up this matter during the interview, it could mean different things. Like maybe they wanted to discuss that later on a second interview, or they would like to like make you an offer and discuss that on a job offer stage, or maybe they already decided they don't want to proceed with your profile and just doesn't make sense to get into this kind of details. There are different scenarios, but if you ask about this by yourself 9 times out of 10, and I'm leaving this one time just for the like extraordinary circumstances sake, 9 times out of 10 so you come across as a very materialistic person, somebody who is interested in the money more than an opportunity itself, somebody who is like cheap and greedy. And I'm sure this is not something that you want to be associated with your image as a candidate. So just wait till the HR manager asks you. If not, then just wait for them to bring it up and answer and discuss that at the later stage. If you have been asked about your salary expectations, usually it will happen probably somewhere closer to the end of the interview. You have to answer it very confident, very calm. Don't be embarrassed, don't be shy. Try to keep your cool, be professional, and only name one number. So there should be no, like, I don't know, maybe something around blah blah blah. It should be very simple, very natural, very professional. And also one of the like top mistakes that I hear during the interviews, when people say like a range for the salary, like I would like to get between $10 and $1,500. okay, if you would work for $1,000, why would I pay you 15? So this is a losing point for you from the start. So just one number, never give them any kind of range. One more thing that I wanted to bring it up while we are talking about salary expectations, and it's like bonus tip on this question, is whether to include that in your CV or not. And there could be a few different situations. So you definitely want to mention your salary expectations in your CV or somewhere in your application if you are applying to a recruitment company, because this way it will be more precise search, and recruiter will be able to find something that really suits you, instead of like wasting your time on opportunities that don't fit your expectations. And also, second time when you definitely have to include your salary expectations is if in the job post they ask you to do that. It is very rude when you ignore something that was asked of you in the job post. What it says to me, two things: whether a person did not even read the ad, hence I'm not really interested to talk to this person. Second, the person did read the ad, but they decided not to bother fixing their CV. They decided just to maybe explain it to me during the interview. And this is also something that never works. If you want to say something, you need to like say something to get to the interview. Otherwise, you will be eliminated on the first screening process. So these are the two cases when you definitely need to include that in your CV. There is one specific situation where I recommend not to include your salary expectations in your CV or application. And this is when the job ad where you're applying has a specific number. Like, we are looking for a waiter, the package is $500. And in this case, if you're sending your CV with the salary expectations, let's say of like $800, even if you're okay to work for $500, there is a big chance that your CV will not be shortlisted for an interview, because you know that you're okay to work for $500, but HR of the company will only see the $800 and will think that they don't have that kind of money for this position, so why bother even talking to the candidate? In all the other cases, this is really like your call, because it doesn't really matter. But keep in mind that if your expectations are too high, you will be eliminated for some positions, and some HR managers will not reach out to you because they would maybe looking for somebody with a little bit lower expectations. Even though maybe you would have agreed to this position, you will not get the chance. But if you understand that this is like solid and you will definitely not go lower than this, then you can always include that in your CV. Same goes for like if you put some very low salary, then you may be taken advantage of. Like employer could offer you a lower salary that they would have maybe if they didn't know already your expectations. So the bottom line here probably that you have to be very honest when you're answering this question. Money is important for everyone, and that's okay, that's normal, but you have to be very honest in evaluating yourself, evaluating the market, evaluating the company that you're like applying to. So just be honest, be authentic, be yourself, and I'm sure you'll get that job. So guys, this is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know please in a comment down below whether you can understand me in English, because even though I use it often, it's far from fluent and I do a lot of mistakes. So your feedback would be very, very much appreciated. Talk to you in the next videos. Bye bye.